everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. We're diving back into one of my more controversial rants and finding out, was I wrong? Is there some good buff turkey out there? So big shout out to Joe Doherty. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. He's like, you know what, Bourbon Bill? He commented in that video, he was like, You know who picks a good buff turkey? Cam from Drums and Drams. So he's on the spot tonight. And River Roots. So those two combined, little action there. They supposedly have picked some good buff turkey. And all I've been tasting is the dregs of shit from buff turkey. So tonight we're going to find out if there is good buff turkey. And is it still worth the price? So thank you again, Joe. I really appreciate this opportunity to taste a little more. Come at you with a more conclusive conclusion, some might say. So before we dive into those, though, he also sent me another sample here of a River Roots Opus 1 Coda Bourbon Outfitter and Drums and Drams. This is a 10-year-old double oak bourbon coming in at 129.56 proof. Compute 64.78% alcohol by volume. So for those wondering, Bourbon Bill, is everything River Roots puts out good? Maybe not everything, but what I've tried so far has been their delicious 12, 13-year-old rye. Very good. Their Primal Port, 10.5-year-old port finished beam. Excellent. Excellent. I don't see how that doesn't make my top 10 bourbons of the year. It's that good. All right, so here's a 10-year-old double oak from them at nearly 130 proof. Color, she's dark, not as dark as it could be. So again, I don't know who actually distilled this. I mean, obviously River Roots blended and bottled, right? And probably double oaked it, but I don't know who originally distilled it. So Joe, if you know, drop a comment below, or someone knows Opus 1 Coda, let me know. On the nose. God, does that smell delicious. Just rich chocolate. A lot of like heavy caramel toffee. There's that good double oakiness in there, if you know what I mean. Like some confectioner's icing on top. Oh, smells delicious. All right, down the hatches. Oh, what a way to start the night. God, that's delicious. Oh, man. Oh, is that good. Very velvety thick, like maple syrup flowing down the old esophagus. It's pretty thick, it's pretty good. I get some sweetness, some chocolate, some oak, some caramels. It's all there. It's delicious double oak. What can I say about it? It's good stuff. If I had to guess on the distillate, I'm going to say it's a double oak MGP. It is very good. Comment below if I'm right or wrong. Could be totally wrong, but I think it's pretty good. I don't know that the 10 years is apparent. That's my only knock on it. It doesn't taste youthful at all, right? But there's not like a ton of age to it, but it is very delicious. So Bourbon Bill's rating, if it's like 90 some doll hairs and below, it's a buy. If it's 120 doll hairs, I get a little skeptical because we are going to compare it to a shelfer of Peerless double oak bourbon, which can usually be found for about 85 to 95 doll hairs in that range. These are barrel proof, but a lot less proof than that. This one was a 109.1 proof. Color-wise, they're about the same, so I guess that is pretty dark. Now, I only had that little sample to work with. All right, the Peerless double oak on the nose. Man, not a lot beats a Peerless double oak, gotta say. This has a little bit more cinnamon. It is sweeter overall. I get a cinnamon, like the double oak barrel charriness, I think, is almost better on the nose of this Peerless double oak. Back to the Opus 1. I mean, the Opus 1 has a really good nose, too. I pick up the char on both, but I'm going to say I prefer the nose of the Peerless. That's a shocker. All right, down the hatch for the Peerless. Oh, sweet heavens. Oh, it's so good. Okay, first off the negatives. The Peerless is not as thick on the palate, but it is just as full of flavor. Okay, proof's not as high, but it's got the cinnamon, the chocolate, The double oakiness is fantastic. I think it's a touch sweeter. I think the Peerless actually has slightly better developed flavors. And that's a shocker for me. I came into this thinking, my gosh, a 10-year-old double oak, 100% I'm going to be in on this. And I am. Like I said, this is very good. I do love it. The Peerless, to me, though, is a little bit better. And most importantly, does not drink younger. That is a 10-year-old River Roots product. Peerless Double Oak does not drink younger. And it's certainly not that old, right? Their picks were like 6 or 7. That's a shelfer. Their shelfer is like 5, right? Maybe 6. So I'm still in the Peerless camp, and which is good news for all of you because that's way more widely available than this pick was. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say the pick is MGP distillate. That's my guess. Someone comment below whether I'm right or wrong. Although again, it is very good. So if it's 100 doll hairs or less, and you're in love with the MGP profile, you might find it better than the Peerless Double Oak. But if you like Peerless Double Oak and you can't find one of those, don't cry about it. There we go. There's our final solution to that. All right, now, what you came here for. You didn't come here for Double Oak goodness, but I brought it to your ass anyway. Just the kind of channel we are, and I even dressed up for this shit. God, give me a little bit of credit. Comment, like below. All right. Joe, because he's the fucking man, sent us 2 samples of Buff Turkey. The first one is called The Princess. I assume Cam's wife picked that one. Straight Kentucky Bourbon, 15 years and 8 months old Buff Turkey, as we talked about. Again, I still think it's quite a sham. Quite a sham. 60.79% alcohol by volume, which computes to reverse compute, 121.58 proof. So nice proof. Then we're also going to taste right after that the Bard, which I assume Cam just picked himself. And this one is 16 years, 3 months, so just a little bit older. A little bit older, which could make a big difference here. May not. We'll find out. This one, though, is 133.78 proof, compute 66.89% alcohol by volume. So, higher proof, older is the Bard. First up, the Princess. Now look, we're coming off just wholly being unimpressed with any Buff Turkey I've ever had. It's like, I would leave it if it was more than 60 doll hairs a bottle, right? And look, a lot of you, I did caveat that video by saying I hadn't tried a lot, just the Sealbox Batch 1 god-awful, and the Old Zach god-awful, right? Now, they tasted okay, but just value, I mean, for the price you had to pay to get them. But a lot of you were like, hey, you know, and I did say in that video, if I were to guess who would have picked a good one, it would have been a YouTuber you can trust. And, you know, Cam looks trustworthy. He does. He looks trustworthy. And secondly, I said River Roots puts out pretty good stuff, so I would have guessed they would have been, you know, in the ballpark of putting out good stuff with a few others. So here we are. I'm getting to try my words now. Does it pan out? Color, nice and dark. On the nose of the Princess. God, well this is, okay, now I gotta say this is a much better nose than anything else from Buff Turkey I've smelled so far. So already we are off to a better start on the nose alone. Wow, it's rich and fruity. It's just like a light cherry. I said on before the Old Zach had like a zebra striped fruit gum scent to it. That's there, but it's well more developed into like just this beautiful cherry. It's like you're sucking on the loons while you're chewing Big League Chew bubble gum. It's like that kind of fruit is just popping off on your tongue. Now, for how old it is not coming off oaky. I will say that, but it is coming off just a fruit bomb. All right, down the hatch. Oh, that's so good. Damn it. Damn it. Cam must be trustworthy. Good job, Cam. And River Roots, good job. That is delicious. Now. It is good stuff. Grading alone, let's talk about the flavors. It tastes way more like a George T. Stag. It's got this delicious like cherry, strawberry, red fruit, and like pink bubblegum thing going on all through the palate. And that's what it delivers. It's pretty silky and velvety again. Nice mouthfeel. The proof doesn't feel heavy. It feels just right. You know, just right. Again, I'm not sure what these retail for. Someone comment below. For me, they're still about $120 to $150 hair bottle, and no more, and no more. So I gotta say, if it's more than that, it's still a bad value, but this is really good. Now, move the Princess to the back just to keep it in line here. Up the bar, because I want to see if there's a color difference. The only reason why I'm doing it in clear and not different colored blends. The Bard. Color-wise, oh, the Bard is darker. And you know what we say, the darker the better. So look, with a little bit more age comes a little bit more darkness. All right, on the nose of the Bard. This smells like an extremely well done Stag Junior. This has a heavier toffee caramel note with the cherry. And it almost leans a little more like stewed fruity. I actually like the nose on the Princess better. I think just this like pink bubblegum cherry bomb of the Princess is better than the nose on the Bard. The Bard to me smells like just like pure Stag Junior. Like a good batch of Stag Junior, not the more recent ones. It's a little more stone fruity, but it still's got the cherry and it's got a little bit of elevated caramel. All right, down the hatch on the Bard. Whoa, what happened to me there? That was the easiest drinking 133 proof, is that what it was? 133.78 proof bourbon I've ever had. You feel the Kentucky hug, but it just, like liquid glass, velvet, going down the palate. Wow. I would say that's lower proof than the Princess, even though it's not. So the mouthfeel, A+ on that. It's delicious. This reminds me of kind of like a George T. Stag profile. It's got good proof. It leans more stewed fruits. It's less cherry, although the cherry cola thing's there, but it feels less cherry. Again, though, if you're a fan of oak in your older bourbons, not present here. You know, and I am. And it's probably why I'm not a massive, like, Buffalo Trace profile kind of guy, because all their stuff leans more that cherry cola note, the fruit, which is all good. I like all that. But doesn't often have the oak that we want for the age that the products are. So I think the Princess is better. Between the two, Princess all day, baby. Now, I now have to admit, there is good Buff Turkey in existence. I will also admit that none of this is worth more than about $150 hairs. Unless you feel like paying more for that for Stag, and I mean George T. Stag, which courtesy of Eric DeValk, we have half a sample left of the 2024 George T. Stag at 136.1 proof. You sons of bitches, we're going to compare it tonight. All right, 2024 GTS. In the mini, to keep things straight. All right, what's MSRP on George T. Stag these days? About $150 hairs. I get it, folks. Unless you win it in the lottery here in PA, you're not going to get it for that price. Unless, you know, your best buddies, or you own a liquor store, you're not going to get it for that price. You're going to have to pay $500, $600 more on secondary to get it, right? Trade for it, work hard to get it, pay $1,000 for it because you just want it now. So from that instance, maybe these Buff Turkeys sing to you. But to me, I would never pay more than about $150 hairs for a George T. Stag. It just isn't my preferred flavor profile. If it's yours, that's okay. That's totally okay. I get it. I get why you like it. So whatever you're comfortable paying for one of those is probably going to be what you're comfortable paying for one of the Buff Turkeys. But you got to be careful, right? These were both Cam's picks who, let's face it, he's a goofball, but he's a good guy. And I think he tries to pick good stuff, right? And River Roots also is one of the better NDPs. You could easily get missiled here and get dog shit, like the old Zach was, or even the Sealbox Bash 1. 2024 George T. Stag. And this smells exactly like the Bard. In fact, I would say the George T. Stag smells better than the Bard on the nose, but the Princess smells better. So, you know, there you go. I mean, On paper, the Bard's better. It's higher proof, it's older, but wasn't as good as the Princess, which is a little bit younger. So there you go. George C. Stag, though, just got that delicious cherry cola nose. Got a little bit of that pink bubblegum, stewed fruits too thing going on. Caramel down the hatch. Oh, damn. Okay, again, 2024 GTS, very good, very good. It's good stuff. It's got the stewed fruits, caramels, the cherry cola. Not much oak. Again, it's just not the profile that Buffalo Trace goes for, and I get it. We're fine with it. Buff Turkey is in that same realm. At least these two. The first couple I had, I wouldn't pay a $40 hairs for. Okay, these though, pretty good. So, there is some good Buff Turkey out there, but please, you must use extreme caution. Now, is 2024 George C. Stag better than any of these Buff Turkeys? Let's find out. Bard's got a better finish, but 2024 George C. Stag is more flavorful, more comprehensive. 2024 GTS beats the Bard. The Princess. I dig the nose and the initial flavor more of the Princess, but it is hotter. And I'm going to say 2024 GTS beats that as well. So there you go. There you go. If you wanted like a rich but not rich enough man's 2024 GTS, then Cam's picks from River Roots here are the Buff Turkey, which by the way, it's almost 100% to the Buffalo Trace profile. Nothing turkey about it. So the pseudo Buffalo. These are good substitutions, although I prefer the 2024 GTS a little bit better. I do. Are these very good? Yes. So I didn't really steer you wrong. You know, the first video I ranted and raved about how dog shit and a scam it was. It's still kind of a scam. A lot of the barrels are going to be a scam. I think if you pick, like I said, I repeated what I said in the video. If you pick a good YouTuber you trust, and if you can't do that, you pick an NDP that you trust a little bit more, and that's River Roots for me, and for a lot of you, I assume. You're going to end up with something pretty good. Is the pricing still shitty? Probably. A lot of people comment in that video, oh, I got mine for $260, but Bill, not $350. Two fucking 60 still too much. May I present to you the fucking end-all be-all of your pricing issues? Hardin's Creek Jacob's Well Batch 2, or as it's better known, the 211 month, coming in at 17 and a half years old. For those that couldn't do the month comparison, I give you 110 proof perfection from Jim fucking Beam. Leather choker down. Cork off. Pour a little of this up here. Alright. Color. Oh man, is that nice and dark. In fact, it's darker than the Bard, which was the darker of the two Buff Turkeys. It's only 110 proof. This is watered down. Those were all barrel fucking proof. Think about that. And this is darker at 110. On the nose. God damn, finally some proper goddamn oak for a 17-and-a-half-year-old product. None of these products are young. George C. Stag's probably the youngest at 15. And none of them had really any sweet, savory, old-ass oak to speak of. It's like, what happened? What happened? This brings that sweet oak. I got raspberry. There's raspberry, there's leather, there's oak. There's this delicious, like, red fruit jam over top of just an oak bark tree. God, that smells delicious. Down the hatch. God damn, is that so much better. Oh my God. Beat everything up here. Everything. Just fucking smoked it like it was a menthol Newport. Just fucking gone. Just gone. That is so much better. MSRP $165 hairs. Secondary on your worst fucking days, $250. Okay, on your worst day, this is less than the MSRP of some of these other picks. Go buy this instead. If you got any business drinking a 15 or 16-year-old bourbon, you should want it to have oak. And here we are. Here, fucking Beam delivered. I need another who has another one of these for me? Because it's just not appreciated enough. Who has another one? I need another backup. I don't... Forget Buff Turkey. Even the good ones aren't worth the price. There you go. If you like what you saw tonight, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Joe. I really appreciate it. Joe did open my eyes to the fact that some of you have tasted good Buff Turkey, and I get why you love it, and it's pretty close to GTS, good old George T. Stag. And depending on what year George T. Stag, it could be better than that year George T. Stag. If you couldn't get a 2024 George T. Stag, damn, you got real close with these Cam picks from River Roots. Good job, Cam. You did a good job, sir. Appreciate it. Helping people out, giving them good shit, you know, that they wanted. They wanted it. But the price is still prohibitive. And we can't blame Cam for that. We can't blame River Roots for that, right? This is what the broker sold it for. This is what it was sold off for. It was the going rate for the barrels, and therefore that's what it translated to your wallets. Is it a good price? No. Are there some good out there? Yes. What's the chances you're going to get one? If you didn't get one from a trusted YouTuber and it wasn't from... Now, River Roots is the only good one I've had. I've heard Dark Arts is good too, but I haven't had much of their stuff, so I can't say. Your chances are slim. You're going to get a shit barrel like the old Zach or Steelbox Batch 1, and you're going to be like, well, god damn, this is awful. And you know, I warned you. So, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Have a good evening, everybody.